Hi, thank you for being here. Thank you for stopping by and being with me on my channel, Freedom Over 40. And for those that know me, I've just recognized the fact that I've just cut my hair, guys. And there's a reason for that. So if you're in your 30s, anywhere up from 30s up to 50s, and your hair is falling out, your hair is thinning, you're noticing that your hair wasn't what it used to be from when you were younger, then I'm in that group too. And I decided yesterday to cut my hair to a bob. And the simple fact is, my hair is fine. It always has been a fine consistency. It's never been thick. So I've always had fine hair, always have. And now with menopause, my hair is just shredding like there is no tomorrow. Seriously, if I could collect all the hair that I have shredded since being perimenopause in my 30s and now menopausal in my 40s, I could have my own winter coat. Do you know what I mean? That's how bad it is. So basically, what I want to say today is you're not alone, okay? I get it. And I decided to cut my hair this length because it was doing my head in, literally. I had a Christmas party yesterday evening and I just didn't know what to do. I just felt really untidy. I didn't feel presentable. And although I've never been able to have volume in my hair and things because my hair is that fine, I just felt it was getting, I don't know, to me it felt scraggy and it just didn't feel healthy. Even though my hair was fairly good in condition, I didn't have much of it. So I've had this cut to give the illusion that it is thicker than what it actually is. And I had my colours done, my roots done, the grey, the sparkly grey keeps coming through, guys. Can't do much about that. It is what it is when you get older. But as I say, I had the cut and I had a full set of highlights, mini highlights, and blended in with the root. And yeah, so this is me for the next 3 months until I go back, because I don't like to go too regularly as well. I like to try and give myself time. I don't like to over process things in my hair. Before I had the bob, I used to just naturally let my hair dry. I would never hair dry it. I would just brush it a couple of times when it was wet from showering and washing my hair, and then I would just leave it dry naturally. And I know I'm lucky I could do that, because that's how like straight my hair is. There is very little wave in my hair, and it's actually quite resistant. Because back in the 80s and 90s, I used to have a perm because I wanted afro hair like Whitney Houston. This is just a fact. I was obsessed with Whitney Houston, loved her. I just thought she was the most beautiful, talented, amazing lady, and I adored her, and I just wanted to be like her. And I wanted curly hair like her. So I have had spiral perms, you name it. I used to have it, but now my hair will not take when I have it permed. It just will not take. So the last time I actually had it permed was back in the early 2000s. And when I went in, they used 2 bottles of the perming solution on my hair. And when it was finished, there was a slight wave in some parts of my hair. There was no curl, where it basically meant that I had to go back and I had to have it relaxed back to straight just to get that kink out, because it didn't look very good. It looked like I just slept on something awkward and my hair just went funny. So my hair is that resistant, it's that fine, and yeah, but there we go. Just a fun fact I thought I'd share with you. But I just wanted to do this video today to say, look, guys, as we age, things are changing, your hair changes, you might lose hair. And I didn't really want to go like a pixie short. Like, I have been very short with my hair years ago when I used to be married. I did actually go very short because my hair loss started in my 30s when I was perimenopausal. And, I did go mega, mega short in the end because I just got so fed up. I just got fed up of it just wasn't growing the way I wanted it. But here I am, 45, divorced, in a happy relationship with a bob haircut and going through the menopause fully. So I think for you, I just want you to understand that, you're not on your own, okay? Us women, we're going through it together, okay? And we need to be here to support each other. Like my hair started thinning, as I said, in my 30s, my mid 30s, when I was perimenopausal. And I'd gone back and forth to the doctor, and they were like, "Oh, it's hormones. It happens at your age." And that was literally it. There was no compassion, no empathy. Yes, it came from a male doctor that I was speaking to, so probably that was why as well. I didn't get much empathy there. But it was a case of I was more or less told deal with it, which is not very nice, is it? When if your hair to you is your one thing that you love and you take pride in, you want to do the best for yourself. So, but like no one tells you this is going to happen. Like when you're in school and you do biology, nobody actually tells you what happens later in life either. You just get told about the birds and the bees, and that's pretty much it. Now, there was only one lesson that actually happened about biology, and I actually wasn't in school that time. I think I was really ill with a chest infection, so I couldn't go to school. But nobody even decided to recap the subject with me either. Nobody decided to give me like an update on what the subject was, and that's how bad it was then in my school. But I digress. So, like I said, I finally decided that I wanted to have my hair cut into a bob, and I'd been toying with the idea for about a month because I knew my appointment was coming up yesterday. And I was looking on Pinterest, and I was looking at different like hairstyles for thin hair, fine hair, and the bob kept coming up. And so many people have been having the bob haircut now last year and all through this year. People in work have had the bob, and it looks really nice on people. And I was like, oh, it just brought back memories as well of my mother, because my mother used to cut my own fringe, which was horrendous. My mother's hair is a lot thicker than mine, and that's the bit she didn't quite get. Just because she could have a fringe, it didn't mean that I could have a fringe and that it would suit me. And she used to cut my hair, and oh, it was terrible. The pictures, not many pictures of me, but the ones that there are quite shameful. So I was looking at myself and I was thinking, oh, could I really carry a bob? But I wanted to keep my fringe, which is why I've kept, it's the same length both sides, but I like the idea of being able to tuck it behind my ear. And I sound quite posh then, behind my ear. Uh, and I just felt like, oh, what else do I do? Do I keep the same colour? And I think, no, I want to try still being blonde with the blonde highlights and things in my hair because I'm going grey. That's why I went blonde, because I could sort of blend the grey in my hair. And I just thought I'd try it with a bob. And I think, without sounding big headed, I think it suits me. My other half really loves it. He keeps looking at me and laughing. He just finds it funny, but because he thinks I look so different. And I think it makes me feel youthful or look youthful. Can't even say the word. So I'm really chuffed with it. Anyway, what do you think? Do you think the bob suits me? Do you think I should have kept the length that I was, or do you think I made the right decision? What do you think? So, hair loss is one of the most searched symptoms of perimenopause right now. So, the reason why we lose so much hair when we go through this is because we lose estrogen. So when your estrogen level drops, your hair can then shred faster than it grows. And it hits younger women. So say it happens when you're in your 30s, right through up until your mid 50s, and it may even continue after that. It just depends on your genetics really, and the way that your body responds to hormones and things. So what I wanted to do as well is say to you this, like, please don't feel like you're on your own. And I know it's quite a daunting experience when we go through our 30s and 40s, and your body's changing, your hormones, and everything is affected, your mental health. But I just wanted to get on here and just say, look, I'm one of those people, I'm human. I go through my emotions, and things happen in life that you just don't always expect. I was really poorly, and I'm still not 100% now, but I say I'm about 90% than I was. But I was really, really not well. A week ago, last Monday, my doctor wanted me to go into hospital because I was that poorly with my lungs, because I got asthma. And when I do get a really bad chest infection, it completely floors me, and I was bad. So I'm here. I'm grateful to still be here, live another day, which is why I am so determined to keep going with this channel, create the Freedom Over 40 movement, and for me to be free in myself and what I would class as freedom for me. Freedom for you can mean a number of things. I'm full steam ahead in my business. Back in the game of it now with my travel business. And if you're interested in looking to have an online business with me, by all means, get in touch. Or comment on this video, and I do respond to comments that people make on my channel. So if you do that, please feel free to reach out. But like being 45, working full time and dealing with exhaustion and burnout and hormones, it's a lot. So cutting my hair and, refocusing on my health, refocusing on the businesses, it's just my way of like drawing a line under being really poorly over the last few weeks. I've had a bereavement in my family. I got the funeral now on Tuesday afternoon with my stepnan. So there's a lot going on, but life must go on, as they say, isn't it? It's not going to stop just because of me being poorly or whatever else. But that's the beauty of having an online business as well, because you can dip in and out of it as and when you want to. You don't have to be stuck at an office environment. You can do this from home. You can do this from anywhere. If you go on holiday, I always take my laptop with me, and I do a bit of work as and when I feel I can. And if I'm busy doing things, I'm doing things. But at least I can touch base and keep in touch with my team. And my team were the people I was with last night when I drove to England. So I drove there. It took me 3 hours to get to Warsaw from where I live here in Wales. And the same again coming back home last night. So I got back about 1 o'clock in the morning. So I've had a bit of a lazy day, hence why I'm in my pajamas. I'm having one of them days. I'm being kind to myself. I'm not stressing out because I haven't showered yet. Or I will be soon. I will be jumping in the shower soon. But yeah, I've just been putting washing on, stripping the beds, that sort of thing, because your home life still carries on as well, regardless. And that's the other thing, is trying to keep on top of, your chores. And I'm going to be cooking a Sunday dinner this afternoon. I'm going to have a chicken dinner. So we're going to have that a bit later on, actually. We're going to have it for about 5-6 o'clock in the evening. And it's already getting dark outside as well. And it's only 2 o'clock. How crazy is that? But ultimately, again, as I say, this is a reminder that I wanted you to understand that please think about your life, your decisions, and I've got a herbal tea. I just want you to sort of think about what matters to you, what's important to you. If you're struggling mentally, if you're struggling financially, please think and look for ways that can help you improve, or can take maybe some burden off you. If you're in debt, look at debt management companies out there, preferably charitable ones, because they don't charge a fee, I believe. The one that I went through in the past, Step Change in the UK, were fantastic. And they don't know I'm doing this video. This is just me being completely honest. I had debt, and I went through Step Change, and I had a debt management plan put in place. Now, it helps massively when you're up against it and you're trying to basically pay all your bills and you've only got so much coming in, and that's it. So I get it. I know what it's like to be skint. I understand what it's like, when you're trying to pay the basics on bills. I no longer have credit cards. I don't have an overdraft. My credit cards are part of my debt management plan. I started this business now because I no longer want to be relying on just one income coming in. As I said in my previous video, AI, as fantastic as a tool that it is being brought in and has been brought into my main job environment, and it is a success so far. What I'm finding is there are less reasons now for staff to be replaced if they retire or leave. We're basically expected to pick up the slack and do more with no extra money. So I know there's a change. And if you can hear any noise in the background, the rain has just started to come down again, because I'm in the conservatory. But what I'm trying to say to you is this: please have a plan B. Ultimately, have a plan B. You don't have to join me in the business. Of course you don't. But I feel more happier and safer and secure in myself knowing that I have a plan B, because money isn't everything, but I don't want to be struggling anymore. I don't want to be getting into debt. I don't want to be thinking, what if? I don't want to be missing out on anything anymore. As a child, I missed out on so many things because my parents never had money, and my parents got divorced then when I was 9. And we literally lived like Mother Hubbard. It was terrible. And I don't want to be in that situation anymore. I don't want to be scrimping and scraving. I'm not saying I want expensive things. I just want to be comfortable. That's all I want, is to be comfortable. I don't care for designer labels. I don't care about having a 5-bed detached property in the Cotswolds, whatever. That doesn't bother me. That's not interesting to me at all. Yes, have a nice, safe, warm home with a roof over my head and heating on. We've just recently paid for brand new heating to be put into the property, which costs a lot of money. It's those things that I want that money for, that plan B for, because we needed to replace the boiler. The boiler was so old, there wasn't even any paperwork for it when we bought the house, or when my other half bought the house. And we had plumbers out and we had it serviced, and they couldn't really fix the problem. It was leaking and we weren't having hot showers, and the simple things in life that we take for granted. That is what I want. I just want to be able to have a hot shower. I couldn't even have a hot bath because the old boiler wouldn't actually, even if you just had the tap open just halfway or just a quarter of the way open, it would not generate enough hot water to fill the bath. It was ridiculous. And I was getting concerned that we were getting closer to, like, the middle of the summer towards the winter months, and we were going away at the time to Tunisia. And I said, I don't want to come home from Tunisia wondering if the boiler's even going to work, because I knew that once we'd come back from a hot country back to our weather here in the UK, I was just like getting a little bit anxious about it all. So we had some quotes from all sorts of well-known British companies and local tradespeople, and we went with the cheapest quote, but they were brilliant. We didn't need to have any scaffolding put up for it. Where the positioning of the flue and the outlet pipe was for the boiler from the previous one, and they did a fantastic job, and they replaced one radiator in the bathroom. That's what we had done. And we have Hive. That's the only luxury from it that we've got, is Hive, which, again, I'm not sponsored or affiliated by it, but basically Hive, for those that don't know what it is, it's an app that you can have on your phone, and it connects to your actual boiler system. So, for example, you can set it so that when it knows you're within a certain radius of where you live, the heating can actually come on for you to warm the house up. Or if you wanted, you could actually just log on to the app, even if you're in work, and decide to turn your heating on now, because you know that you're going to leave to come home, or things like that. It's silly, I know, but it's just a little luxury that we like. And or if we're at home and the little box thermostat which you use to adjust the heating, if it's in another room or downstairs, it doesn't matter, because you just log onto your phone if it's with you, and you can instantly get your heating to turn on. It's just such an amazing app to have. So we did treat ourselves to that when we got the heating system changed. But that's it. But that's the things I like to spend money on. Something that I'm going to benefit with long term. It also, if we decide to sell the property, then it comes with a brand new boiler and things, So it's just like, that's the investment, and that's where I want to put my money. Yes, I want to upgrade my car, and yes, I'd like to have a convertible again, because I've always loved my convertible cars. My last convertible I had for 6 years, and I really miss it. I know we don't have the best of weather here at times in Britain, especially in Wales, but I don't need it to be warm for me to have the roof down. Like, it could be now November, December, and it could be a beautiful sunny day. It might be a bit chilly, but I'll have the heaters on. Do you know what I mean? In the car. And I would just be chuffed having fresh air around me, and just go for a spin in the car with the roof down, just get that fresh air. I find it really refreshing in myself, and it helps me mentally as well. So that's where I like to put my money, and to have my hair cut. That's pretty much it. But anyway, I've waffled on. But what I want to say to you is ultimately this: if your hair is thinning, please reach out to us on this community, reach out to me. If you want to have a chat about it, we can. Go and see a hairdresser, talk to your GP, medical professional. um, Look at ways that maybe you could do, or what you could do to adapt to your situation, because without sounding really blunt, it is what it is. You can't stop it or change it, unfortunately. But it's looking at solutions and ways around actually making yourself feel helpful and presentable or confident, or whatever it is you need to deal with your hair loss and hair thinning. Money situation, please look out to Google what's nearest to you. for debt management plans or whatever, debt advice. If you're looking to start an online business in travel, please reach out to me. I can more than happily send information to you and jump on a Zoom call, and we can go from there. But I just thought I'd update you and say this is what I look like now. This is my haircut. Tell me what you think. I'd love to hear more from you. And until my next video, guys, take care. Stay blessed.